record. And okay. Well, hi there, guys. I've muted everyone. So if you do want to ask any questions, please just wave at us and hit your unmute on your desktop. We are recording and we'll post this into YouTube when we're done. But firstly, thank you very, very much to everyone for coming on board. We've got 14 or 15 people on, and I know there are a whole heap of people who are keen to watch. Firstly, I must just say it's lovely to be back in Australia. And although I didn't go to convention, I was immersed in it over a week on the Diamond Mastermind trip, and we'll talk about some of that. And what we're going to do this evening is Tess is going to give some thoughts around her experiences of convention. And then we've got all the different oils from the convention, and we're going to get you to smell them through some form or another. I'm not sure. You'll have to wait until you can get your hands on them. I know that a lot of leaders are actually arranging functions. I know Joe and Jackie's got some with her team as well, where some of the people will be sharing the oils. So I'm quite sure fairly soon you will get to test them out. If you are anywhere near us, you're welcome to give us a ring and come visit us in Bilberry. And
come smell.
I'm quite sure we'll be able to share them with you. So I'm going to hand over to Tess, and then we'll talk about the oils and the new products and the convention, and then we'll get some thoughts and share with you some of the ideas and learnings from the Diamond excursion into Alaska as well, and see how many of you are going to join us at the next Diamond Mastermind, because there is going to be another one. So watch this space. So over to you, Tess.
Hi everyone. It's really lovely to actually be back and to see all your gorgeous faces. Thank you for joining us tonight. I want to just say that on tonight we also have Jackie Isles. So Jackie's on. Jackie's our Blue Diamond in our team, and Jackie has been on. Came on this whole trip and did some extra Disney World stuff as well, which was just fantastic. So we're going to throw Jackie in to give us a little bit of feedback as well today, and then Mignon was also at convention. So. And it was so nice to celebrate Mignon, to celebrate you guys walking across the stage. It's a fantastic feeling. Mignon, would you mind sharing with us what that feels like?
There you go. You're unmuted.
I think, I don't know, I was more starstruck on the way to stage with all the, Dave Sterling and Emily Wright and, all the executive teams, except Dr. Hill. I was a bit disappointed there. Giving us high five and congratulating us on the way, and then just, I don't know, it was a bit of a blur, and it's good, you sort of, your team are calling out to you and you're sort of waving, but you sort of can't really see that much because of all the lights in your face. But yeah, I walked across with Susan, which was nice, another fellow team member of ours, I suppose, or my greater team. So it was nice to be able to share that moment with her as well, instead of just walking across by yourself. So it was really good.
Absolutely, Mignon. And before we unmute you there, or mute you again, was there anything from convention that, putting you on the spot, I realise, that you would say was one of your biggest takeaways from convention?
I think just connecting with everybody, and as Lou said, it's a shame that we have to go halfway across the world to connect with our team, but just getting that connection and just learning from, because I was the baby on the trip, just learning, spending time with people, and just outside of doTERRA as well. It's just nice to get to know people. On a more personal level than just talk about doTERRA all the time. So that was my biggest thing, was just the connection with everyone and learn and meeting new people as well. But yeah, and obviously the convention was really good to be there, as well as celebrating with everybody.
That's great. Thanks, Min, for sharing. It was such, guys, if you get the opportunity,
sharing a room with you, Tess, was great too. You don't snore too much.
I know too much about you now, Min. All right. Likewise. So, you know, this, we've got Jackie. I want to ask Jackie if you want to just jump in and give us your, you know, your feel and your takeout from convention and just maybe this whole trip, if there was something huge that stood out for you, Jackie. You know, I think we can all learn a fair bit from you and your experience through all of this as well. So if you don't mind sharing with us, it would be lovely.
I think for me, oh gosh, as we were talking before, we went live, there was so much. The connections, the sheer size of the company, and where doTERRA is going. And I think for me, and I spoke to one of my girls today, was if you have any doubt that this is maybe a short-term make your money, make your mark, and then move on to the next multi-level marketing opportunity, well, that's not doTERRA, because what we saw in the States, that they're only just beginning.
Yeah.
They are revolutionizing healthcare. They are committed to doing that globally, and they are partnering with the most incredible functional practitioners already to take what we do daily in our families to the globe. And there is only 2% of the global population who currently own the highest essential oils in the world, which is doTERRA. So if you have any doubt, please put that aside, because we are here to stay for the long term. Like, they're talking 20, 30-year plan, and they're talking about it. There's 98% of homes out there who are not blessed by these oils.
Right.
So that was my biggest takeaway, and being part of such a great cause, that momentum, and everyone is happy. This company is happy. It's just pure joy and bliss without the alcohol. It's hilarious.
It's true, that.
It is true.
There was just a little bit of alcohol on the boat, but without the alcohol.
That wasn't convention though, Craig. That was the Aussie. The Aussies get together, the Aussies influence. And also the Friday night tests, the Goddard. So we got together with our grand team under Natalie and Andy Goddard. And when they were celebrating the rank advancements from platinum to presidential, the global Goddard team, those higher ranks were only Australians.
All Australian.
Australians. So we got the Duke guys.
Yeah, I didn't expect it. That was a huge wow.
No. Yeah.
That was just quite phenomenal. Yeah, Australia is going places, folks. Jackie, thank you so much. And if you want to jump in at any point, guys, just come in and share, because tonight is all about sharing about convention and our experience. So please jump in. It would be lovely to hear your opinions. I'm going to just jump in and say on that point that what was shared at convention for us is that Australia, in terms of international sales growth over this last year, has had a sales growth of almost 120%. Now, the next closest to that was Europe on 85% growth, and then the other markets after that. Our sign-up growth internationally is also the highest. So we're sitting on 99%, whereas the next closest is Europe, 96%. Take note of that, guys, because the 96% Europe, the 91% in Canada, you know, Mexico, Taiwan, China, all of those places, they want the oils. So they want it as badly as we want them in Australia. So if you've got friends and family and connections in Europe and in Canada and China and all of those places, reach out to them. It's growing markets and definitely worth looking into. So I think what I want to actually just say on, on the, just adding to the convention takeaway, for me, it's very, very clear that doTERRA is working on their 5th, what do we call them, mission statement, what do they call them? The mission statement. Now, we got given these little books, right, just to write in. And right in the front of this, that's their mission statement. And it goes very much, the first 4 is about what their commitments are. You would have read this before. I'm not going to go through them, but it's about quality. It's about the therapeutic quality of the oils. It's about partnering with people like you and me to actually do this work and to create opportunities for us for wellness and abundance. It's about partnering with people who on the ground, the people who are actually harvesting and growing, and making sure that that is done in an ethical, sustainable, and in a compassionate way through healing hands and everything else that we know, co-impact sourcing, that doTERRA is all about. And boy, are they big on that. They're going way beyond anything that you and I are actually aware of. There are so many projects that they are involved. We know only but a snippet of what they're doing. So some of these were actually shared with us as well, and it's just wonderful. So they're working on point number 5 here at the moment, because the other ones have been tick, 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 tick. So number 5 says the following, and for me, the take home from this convention was, this is where we're going with doTERRA. It says, bringing together healthcare professionals of traditional and alternative medicine to encourage further study and application of therapeutic grade essential oils in modern healthcare practices. That is huge. They will achieve that too. There's no doubt in their minds from the owners of this company that they will achieve that. And they're going to achieve that through setting up integrative clinics. And we've posted, I think we've all posted that in our groups as well, is that they're getting started with this. They're getting started in the US, and they will expand that internationally. Craig, what is that website that they've got?
Yeah, there is a website, healthcare.doterra.com, which we'll share on the post. But do yourself a favor and just go and have a look at it, healthcare.doterra.com. So from early January 2018, they launched their first integrative clinic at Pleasant Grove at their head office. And the website sets out all of their goals and strategies and who's involved. And they're actually asking for input from Americans as to where they would like the next clinics in America. And then certainly we're already talking to Australian head office about what it will take to get this started in Australia. And I think as part of our bigger group, and I know Jackie's very intimately involved in this and has already spoken to Tess, and Tess has already put the feelers out with head office around what this looks like. But watch the space. I don't think we're far off, considering the growth and expansion in Australia. I don't think we're far off from seeing this healthcare approach arriving in Australia at some point within the near future as well. So really exciting.
It is really
check
exciting.
The website.
It is exciting. I mean, if doTERRA puts that down as a mission statement, which is just 5 statements, they're onto it. They're really onto it, and that it will happen without a doubt. So that is incredibly exciting for not just for the US, who, the medical systems in a shambles, but for the rest of the world. So watch this spot. So we'll be talking about things like bringing together, like they've just had in the States, just before convention, they've had the first annual medical symposium on essential oils, and it was attended by over 500 medical practitioners, and I couldn't get a ticket, so but anyway, couldn't get one. So I've just decided that I would approach Teresa Hawes, our GM, and I've kind of just said to her, we're doing one in Australia. So she says, that we're fun, let's do it. So watch this space. We're going to have a medical symposium and get all the medical people involved and do something with these essential oils in Australia, which will be wonderful. And yes, as Tanya has actually just posted and says, it's a wonderful energetic shift towards higher consciousness. Very, very exciting. And we can all feel that. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback just from the convention and some of the science that was exciting. I will keep it really short because I'm sure you want to hear about the essential oils, the new oils. So some of the science that came out, and guys, if you want to unmute and jump in, just do something. Craig will watch you and I'll watch my notes. Okay, so on Friday of the convention was a big science day and very exciting. I didn't think I could, sorry, Craig, but you know that there's some of those scientists that are very, very sexy in their nerdiness. Yes, Jackie knows what I'm talking about. Yes. Okay, so enough of that. I'll get on to it. So there was some of the science that came out, for example, a lady by the name of Jennifer Edens who's doing her doctorate on as a microbiologist. She was working in many, many hospitals, and, you know, as they say, some of these hospitals are some of the dirtiest places that you can possibly find yourself. But she's done work on On Guard. And the science on On Guard at the moment is actually pretty spectacular. Some of the science that's coming out through her work, as well as Nicole Stevens, who's actually a research professional, I can't remember her title, on the campus with doTERRA. They're looking at On Guard as, number one, sprayed on surfaces and then they swab microorganisms, say bacteria, whatever it is, onto a surface, let it dry, right? On the surface that was sprayed with On Guard, they couldn't find not a single growing bacterium. Okay, that's quite phenomenal. So, you know, these ads on TV that says kills 99.9% of bacteria. Well, On Guard kills 100% of it. So just letting you know, that's pretty exciting.
That was for 7 days too, Tess?
Yeah, 7 days. So there was enough time to have it grow.
Actually, I'm quite sure, Jackie, one of your girls in your team, one of their kids ran an On Guard experiment as part of and shared it in your group. I remember seeing that. So maybe they've got some room to work with doTERRA scientists to share their research as well.
The kids can share.
So if your kids are doing any research projects, let them go and swab toilets and test for On Guard. It'll be an interesting experiment, I think.
And they're also...
sorry, Jackie. Here we go.
Sorry. That was Heather's daughter, and she actually tested On Guard against 3 of the commercial antibacterials, and it showed growth. She actually showed the growth of the bacterium around the antibacterials, and the On Guard dish was clear.
Amazing.
No growth whatsoever.
Yeah. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist or have a PhD to know that On Guard works. All right, so get it out there. And so, guys, we're very, very proud to introduce the On Guard hand sanitizing spray. So that's one of the newest.
It needs a
there you go. Ta-da! So this is something I remember very clearly. Now, I don't know if Rob Young's going to remember this, but I'm sure this comes from our need in Nepal, because we all said to him after going to those toilets, not really toilets, in Nepal, that wouldn't it be lovely if we just had a little On Guard spray in a bottle? And so Rob Young went, that's kind of what he does. He says, And then the next thing what happens is you see at convention, something like that comes out. And I just think every household should have one of these, and also every cruise ship.
Yep.
Right. So that was just one of the new products that we're actually quite excited about. So On Guard shows amazing science and results. So just know that, and also very much antiviral. It sort of prevents the replication of viruses. So just so you know, it's pretty awesome stuff. Okay. Then we also had Julie Reynolds, who's a registered nurse at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. She's a researcher, and she actually works with, I guess, the physical, emotional issues around the use of essential oils to see how that could help with stress relief in the hospital environment. And so she's done work there on a study on workplace stress, And by diffusing citrus oils, I'm just giving you the abstract here, shorter than an abstract. Citrus oils being diffused has lowered the stress that was at 41% down to 3%, and the energy levels from 33% up to 77%. That's significant changes just by diffusing essential oils. And at nighttime, they're also using balance as well, so for the night shift. So what happens is they've also discovered that through their research, they found that their patients have lower blood pressure and lower anxiety levels. Why? Because the staff are happier and less stressed. So if you're a carer for someone, and that goes for you mummies and daddies out there as well, keep yourselves calm, yeah? And then the kids may just respond to that in a calmer way as well. Doesn't that make sense? All right, and use your citrus oils in balance. That's really good. Very, very briefly, just another one. I'm not going to give you it all. There was a Dr. Rina Szabo, who's a psychology director at a cancer center, an integrative cancer center. Wow, how impressive was that study? So she's actually studied the emotional aromatherapy kit, and the study was done in practice, so it's evidence-based practice that the study was done in an allopathic system. So we're working with cancer clients and we're diffusing essential oils. Isn't that amazing? So her research has shown that, and I think I've missed that somewhere. Anyway, her research has shown that Forgive came out like the top essential oil in that essential aromatherapy kit. The emotional aromatherapy kit came out as the top essential oil to basically use for people in terms of feeling workplace related stress and overwhelm, and they had a few parameters that they were testing against, and Forgive came up tops. And the other one that came up was Cheer and Passion and Motivate as well. So it's interesting studies that are being done, and the clinical evidence is there. So if you want to start using any of those oils, I always think of it, I'm just going to throw something of my own in there. When you think of any situation that we find ourselves in an emotion, any way that we feel or behave or respond to something, it's usually something that's triggering us from a memory from a childhood or from somewhere else. It's a past memory. Forgiving yourself for that, saying to yourself, we even do it in this when we're tapping. We start with I love and forgive myself. All right, imagine now if you're using that with a little bit of the Forgive oil. I love and forgive myself. I love and forgive myself. Okay, it's a ho'oponopono. It's an ancient Hawaiian principle as well, and just in terms of releasing base emotions. From my perspective, I'd like to recommend that you guys start with Forgive, and the science tells us that as well. All right, is anyone wanting to add anything to that? Otherwise, I'm going to jump in.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay, I'm going to jump in with you guys and say the new oils. Okay, so I took a whole lot of photos of everything. So I'm just going to pull that up. First one, Siberian fir.
My new favorite, I think. Really good if you've got a chest infection and you need to get rid of it fairly quickly, as a lot of us struggled on the ship as well. I think I used half a bottle in about 4 days, but amazing, yeah.
Okay, so people are wondering why Siberian fir came in, and it's because they can't sustainably harvest white fir, and it's also much more potent than the white fir. Okay, so they're looking at sustainability long term. So there's still white fir, but it's the Siberian fir, I believe, will replace that. Am I right in that, Jackie Mignon?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, yeah, Annabelle. Thank you. It affects multiple body systems, from your nervous system right through to cell support, immunity, as Craig was saying, for the respiratory system, and specifically for the dryness, any sort of dryness through the mucous membranes. All right, so if you start feeling that hacky kind of, and dryness and having to swallow quite a lot and all of that sort of stuff, coughs, all of that, you might want to think about Siberian fir and combining it with frankincense. I'm giving you Dr. Hill's notes on this, by the way, okay? So it's for topical, aromatic, and internal use. So just know that. And also apparently really good topically for skin irritation. So it calms and soothes all tissues that are, a little bit over the top inflamed and all of those sorts of things. So, but very good for breathing in. And I must say, we've both experienced this with the next one, which is, I'm going to talk about, which is copaiba, which is exciting.
There you go. There's the pronunciation. Tess, say it again.
Copaiba.
Okay, someone asked, how do you pronounce it?
Oh, anyway you like. Copaiba. That sounds nice too. All right, so someone also asked about the emotional aspects of these oils, and I want to give you I'm not sure, I don't know when and where it's available, but so Amanda Porter and her co-authors from Enlighten, they put together the Emotions and Essential Oils book, and this is the 6th edition, and it has the descriptors for the new oils. In fact, it also got mandarin oil and a few other things in here. There's actually 12 new ones in here. Okay, so Siberian fir is sort of, they talk about aging and the shifts that happen through aging. Maybe life's little adjustments and changes through the aging process. So might just be, help with that new perspective on life and everything. I think I might be getting there. Who knows? Maybe it's just hard at the moment. Okay, guys, so that's Siberian fir. The next one that Dr. Hill talked about was the blue tansy. Oh my goodness, I'm going to show you. This is fun. This is really fun. So blue tansy is a floral oil in the chamomile family. Now, you all drink chamomile tea and your Roman chamomile. So this one's got heaps and heaps and heaps of I think it's the monoterpenes in it, but we're not going to talk science. Look what happens when you put it on you. Craig, do you want to hold your hand and I put it on you?
Yep, sure.
He goes, okay.
If I have to.
I'll do it this side. I'll do this side. Okay, I'm going to put just one drop on. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay, rub it in.
If I can rub.
Okay. We'll try again.
Rub it, it's fine.
Okay. Okay, look again. Okay.
So don't mess this on your white shirt. It's not a good idea, okay? This is what gives the color to balance. All right?
Okay, so, it's got chamazoline. That's what it is. I love that word. You see the scientists, the nerds, they say it so nicely, chamazoline. So it's got chamazoline. It smells quite interesting too, and it will disappear from the skin, by the way. It's not going to stay there. So it will disappear. It's just in the minute that it's just sitting topically.
It has a fairly blue effect on a diffuser.
Yes.
So if you don't want a blue diffuser, just be careful.
All right. So what is it's quite a strong oil. So it's not something I'm going to wear as a perfume, but I might want to put one drop in a moisturizing liquid or something that I'm using for skincare. All right, so it's an antioxidant. It's incredibly good, not just for the skin, but it's incredibly good for mood. Okay, so it's very good for the mood. Yeah, it's got lots and lots of monoterpenes in there, which is good. And so immunity, it works on immunity, it works on skin, soothing, relief, antioxidant, all of that. So Dr. Hill says, a really good way to apply it is topically for muscle soreness and also as an histamine for the skin. So think of anything where the skin might show any redness or swelling or heat, okay, with the histamine response, it might be really, really good. Or dryness, okay, so any of those conditions that might suit that description, you can use that topically and maybe with a little bit of geranium and frankincense. All right. So you might want to use it for sore muscles and joints and combine it with things like lemongrass, marjoram as well, and a cinnamon even, and for the skin, as I said before. Okay, so diluted, really good. And the other thing that was quite interesting for me is people often ask the question about, are all of the carrier oils, are they all same quality, same thing? Well, not really. So fractionated coconut has been shown, because of its molecular size and it's the chains, the medium triglyceride chains, it has been shown to actually absorb into the skin the best and hold the oils in the best, so that they don't just flash off, and that you don't just lose the oils off the skin like with some of the other carrier oils. So it's really good to have the coconut oil because of the medium chain triglycerides, the fats in there. All right, so it's the right size molecules to go into the skin. This is an oil for inspired action. So imagine rubbing yourself full of blue oil and see what action you can get out of that, I reckon.
If you want to look like a Smurf, yep, I was going to say.
Beautiful.
It does disappear, by the way. It gets absorbed. But yeah, be careful with the blue. Be very careful.
Now the next one, guys, this is the one that's causing a lot of excitement, is the copaiba. All right. So copaiba. Right now, when Dr. Hill brought this out, there was a big, oh, wow, sigh of relief, interest, all sorts of things going on, because this is like the equivalent to medical cannabis in a way. All right. So it's got in a way. So it works on the endocannabinoid system in the body. And so what you'll find is it has all the good stuff that you're going to get from cannabis, either the CBD or the THC, without the hallucinogenic effect. So it actually affects the receptors for the cannabinoids, and that means that you're going to have effects that are positive on the neurological system, and you're going to have effects that are positive on the endocrine and the immune system. So it's actually made up of 4 different species of copaiba, so that it will give you such a variety of the aromatics and the volatile compounds, so that it can have actions on so many different parts of your body. Now, Dr. Hill loves this oil so much. I'm kind of wondering if it's going to become one of his favorites. Just wondering. So it has all the benefits that the cannabinoids, CBD and THC, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you might just want to go look it up. We're talking about marijuana, the cleaned up version and the non-cleaned up version. It's got all the therapeutic benefits, but without the negative effects. So that is kind of very interesting. And there's fair amount of therapeutic quantities of this beta-carotene, which is the cannabinoid, in here. So there's fair amounts in there for therapy for us. So what would you want to use that for? Well, anything from, I'm just finding it, liver and antioxidant support, to cardiovascular health, all right, to your immune system, to digestive stuff, to neurological functioning, which is really interesting. Think of those dis-ease conditions that often we are told there's not much we can do for it, okay, and they're degenerative as well. So here's perhaps something that we can look at in terms of those and help people with, neurological stuff means shaking and burning sensations and tingling sensations and stuff like that. Okay, and it also for respiratory function. So what we did when we were on the boat is you can also take it internally, so it's for all applications. So Siberian fir and copaiba went internally 3 times a day, 2 drops 3 times a day, and coming back, still doing so. Are you still doing some, or are you finished now?
Haven't taken
it
3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, instead of having a chest infection that could last who knows how long, and it was viral, by the way, just 5-6 days and it's over and done with. It's kind of unheard of in terms of viruses, because viruses replicate. So I'm just letting you know this stuff kind of looks like it's working and doing what it's needing to do.
Can I share a little bit about those 2 oils internally as well?
Yeah, please go.
Because Jacob, when Jacob arrived on the boat, he was on the other end of the chest infection. And so I got out, as soon as I saw him in Vancouver, I got out those 2 oils, the Siberian fir and the copaiba. And Jake takes oils internally. So his turnaround with the virus was probably 3 to 4 days. He had a bit of a cough, but it was non-productive. No temp, full of energy. He just really turned himself around really, really quickly. Whereas Amelie was really, you saw Am, she was really, really struggling with it because she refuses to take oils internally. And with Jake, 10 and a half, he was just having 1 drop of each a day, but that was enough to really boost his immunity, work as an antioxidant, and really, really shift that nasty bug really quickly.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so incredible.
And the other thing that you've just mentioned there, Jackie, is you actually don't need a lot of oils. So 1 drop of oil. There was another a slide that was shared during this convention that I actually read to Craig a little bit earlier on grapefruit oil. Now, the fact is we're dealing with very small molecules in essential oils. They are some of the smallest molecules that we have. And in 1 drop of grapefruit oil, every single cell in your body would receive 6.1 million molecules of that grapefruit oil if it was spread across your whole, if you took 1 drop of that oil, and if it could be spread to every single one of your cells. 6.1 million molecules per body cell. I mean, that's just, that to me blows me away. And it's therapy. It's pure therapy in each drop. So you don't need a lot. And that's why you also get a lot when you diffuse the oils. If people still have issues with taking anything internally, why, I don't know why they'd have issues. But if there are still people watching this even, it's just, breathe it in. You're going to get a lot just breathing it in and using it topically as well.
So both Siberian fir and copaiba are available currently in the back office if you order from the US. I know copaiba is $42 and 35 PV. Siberian fir is $24 and 20 PV. So those 2 are available. I know there are people on here who have already ordered it and received them. And then I think most of the other oils are available in America from next week. But we'll just see how many of those and how quickly they're available to us on the US back office order as well. But certainly copaiba and Siberian fir are available now.
And this last thing on copaiba, it's actually really good for the skin as well. So if you combine that with blue tansy, it could be pretty amazing for blemishes and any sort of irritations on the skin. So that's a new one that's going to actually, both of those 2 are going to go in my facial homemade concoctions.
Yeah.
All right. But, if you want some immune support, you've just heard Craig, Jackie, we've actually had the experience now with it. Okay. So we're excited. We're really excited to have these oils. It's really pretty amazing. Now, the next one, I'm going to just zip through the next ones. The next one is neroli. Now, neroli comes from the bitter orange tree. It comes in a touch. It sort of has that little, okay. There you go. Neroli. I'm so wishing you can smell it. I personally, I'm not Oh no, I am personally quite liking that. Funny. Yesterday I didn't like it that much. Maybe it's growing on me a little. So neroli is the blossom from the bitter orange. Petitgrain comes from the leaf, and of course the bitter orange, the peel can give you a bitter orange oil. So it's sort of part of that citrusy, family of oils. But it's a flower. So neroli in a touch, and by the way, these guys, when they produce the touch oils for you, the amount that they put in, I don't know how much they put in and what ratios, but the ratios are going to be specific to allow you, this is an amazing company, they're going to give you the specific ratio that for this oil is the best for you therapeutically. Okay? Don't know how they work it out. They're the scientists. So neroli, mood oil, positive mood. Great for anxiousness and calming the system down. Very relaxing for the skin, very relaxing and soothing and all of that sort of stuff. And it was actually planted, comes from Egypt from 640 AD, represents all sorts of wonderful things, happiness, and reducing apprehension, and for intimacy and for fertility. So for all the boys and girls out there, if you feel like being a little bit more intimate, maybe one can rub a little bit of neroli on some special places. I'm just saying. All right. And it's got linalool content, which means that in the linalool, what happens with that one is that it actually works on calming the GABA. So it's sort of helps GABA, which is a neurotransmitter that helps you calm down. It really supports GABA binding in the body. So the science is on that one as well. Also helps with gut inflammation, so wound healing, and hormonal changes through menopause specifically as well. So think about all of that sort of, feeling intimate, feeling happy, feeling fertile, feeling, a bit yummy. It's about release and let go. And you can do that and especially when it comes to intimacy as well, is that whole feeling of being able to release and let go. I'm going to definitely want to try that one, Craig. What do you say?
Release and let go.
He's excited. He's just not showing it. So that's a really cool, but it smells nice.
Sorry, Sis.
What?
I find that a bit, I didn't know that actually. I find it a bit funny because I saw a post that Hayley Hobson did yesterday, and she said it was really good for sleep. So I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to try that tonight for sleep. And now you said all these other things. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, well, it is the stress and anxiety and release and let go. So if you release and are unstressed, you'll fall asleep, Minion. So I'm not sure how long it takes to fall asleep.
So what we'll do is I'll put some on Craig and I'll put some on me, and I'll see we'll give you feedback. We'll see who's doing what, okay?
Yeah, look at Michelle. Yeah, way to go.
Yeah, okay, thank you for that. Now I have to
What has Perth done to you, Michelle?
I have to go with that picture to bed. All right, the next one, jasmine, so beautiful. So jasmine, how are we going for time?
It's almost 8:15.
Okay, so I'm going to rush. So jasmine, absolutely beautiful. I don't actually going to talk about jasmine now because we all have jasmine already. So we can go look up jasmine. But again, wonderful for sort of on the pulse points. Very joyful, very beautiful, liberating oil. Put it on your pulse points. You can use it, and again, for uplifting, and again, very good for the complexion. So the floral oils are very soothing and calming, from chamomile right through this range of neroli, jasmine. Really beautiful. By the way, this is also an oil, the oil of sexuality. Okay, so intimacy, trust. So it's interesting with the flowers because of the doctrine of signatures of flowers. See the flowers opening up. It's about letting go. All right. I'm going to leave that one there. You can look up your own jasmine. The excitement for so many of us, of course, was to get rose. Is it 242,000 petals make 5 mil? Wow, 242,000 petals. It's quite something. So it comes from Bulgaria rose. It is yummy. It is just a beautiful oil. You know, it's the oil of feeling loved, of being loved, and wrapping yourself up in that connected, radiant kind of way. Interesting thing about rose, it has been shown to lower, I'm going to say this slowly, to lower the desire for morphine. That's interesting, isn't it? So a shot of rose rather than a shot of morphine. Now, that's a good thing to think about. And it's also very protecting for nerves or nerves that have been damaged as well. So think about that one there, okay? It is the queen of oils. So we've got frankincense, copaiba, lavender, rose. These 4 oils are phenomenal in the way that they can act and help us. And then, of course, the last oil blends came out with the most beautiful woman who came up on that stage. I don't know, she's like an angel, a yoga angel. Oh my goodness. And she presented the 3 yoga oils, and actually comes in this little box. Isn't it just beautiful? You know, so beautiful. Now, I didn't take notes on them because I'm not quite into the yoga yet, but the one is called Anchor, the next one is Align, and the next one is Arise. All I can say is they smell divine. I put all 3 of them on me, and I felt very, very, very together, I must say. All right, aligned and arised and anchored. So that's the whole lot there.
There are, I saw on Facebook today, actually, there's some posts that have started going around with some really good graphics on each of those 3 oils. And they actually link the oils to the various positions or stances within yoga. So some of the oils relate to different positions and in the process of yoga. So I'm quite sure we'll be learning more about them. But if you just start getting on Facebook and have a browse around in some of the leadership groups, there are some really good pictures. If I find them, I'll share them in onto the Healthy Wealthy group.
The last little thing I
was going to say, I can share that link. doTERRA actually had a post on it the other day, and it links to their website going on about what poses to do with what oil.
If you can just post it in the event, we can share it and add it in. That's lovely. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thanks, man. That's lovely. And guys, I just want to say the last thing, just on the convention side of things, is that the quality of speakers who were there, the people who are aligning themselves with doTERRA, these people are very, very, what's the word, when they are in their field, like high up, and they're highly regarded, that's the word, specialists in their field. One of the guys that I so wanted to see more of him was a PhD Dr. Brian M. Lawrence. And this guy said he aligns himself with doTERRA for 4 reasons. And those reasons have got to do with the fact that doTERRA, they're prepared to learn, right? He is like he knows everything about essential oils. He's been in the business for 50 years. He's so highly regarded. doTERRA needs, I can't remember all 4, but it's the company's willing to learn, and that he says, and that's reason number 1, he is aligned with doTERRA, that they look after the sustainability of the harvesting and the oils, that they offer pure essential oils, and they do good in this world. That's why this guy is at the top of this field. He aligns himself with doTERRA. So the panel of people who we got to experience and see and listen to, they're not just people that have walked off the street. These are people who chose to align themselves with doTERRA. doTERRA has, from what I can see, they have the brightest minds in this business. And together with those bright minds go incredibly, incredibly compassionate hearts, and people who have humility and kindness. And this is what makes this company different. And that is my biggest takeaway from this, is we're working with a company that is raising the energy and the vibration of everyone they touch. So well done to all of us for being a part of this company.
Good one.
That's all I want to say. Anyone want to add to anything?
Anyone got any questions around that product and that before we just touch on the Diamond Mastermind bit? If you do, just either unmute yourself or throw it out there. Otherwise, we'll carry on talking. Okay. Annabelle, yep, I'll unmute you.
Oh, I just asked earlier on in the feed, with those studies on GARD, does that mean we can now say that it's antibacterial and antiviral, or we still can't use those words?
Well, I don't know if if we're actually getting out there and saying it, because even they would have had difficulty putting the words out there for us to use.
Yeah.
So
but hey, if you're in my clinic, you come to me in my clinic, I'm going to talk viruses with you. I'm going to say use this for virus. But I guess just on social media, we still have to be a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if the study, once the studies are actually probably made public on GARD. Does anyone know if it is public? I don't think it is. It is, Jackie?
There is some there. So if you go searching for it, aromaticscience.com. And wellness evidence, you will find some there. They did actually, I'll find my screenshot of the actual journal that one of the on-GARD studies was shared in. So what we can do, and if you look at the bibliography of any of doTERRA science posts about the oils and their activities, you will find that they will have referenced some of the studies in there. So as long as you are sharing the doTERRA compliant references, you can allude to its immune protective benefits, because it's stated in a study that doTERRA have sanctioned as compliant.
Beautiful.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, Jackie.
Excellent. So I might just carry on and just share with you. So I was very fortunate. It's lovely to be invited by your partner to go to Alaska and have it paid for by our upline. And we're really grateful for that opportunity. So first of all, thank you in their absence to everyone from Jesse up, who all contributed to the Diamonds of Australia to meet together. And this was the first mastermind that's been put together for Australian diamonds. And we ended up with about 120 people, which was inclusive of a lot of families with their kids, which was fantastic. We met in Vancouver and we headed off into southern Alaska on a 7-day cruise, which besides the fact that the cruise was amazing and a really fantastic opportunity to be in that closed environment with amazing people and share some really great moments. And I just wanted to share with you, I suppose, my experiences of what that was about. Firstly, I think Jackie's already used the wording when she spoke about it earlier and said one of the things she felt from convention is that once you've been to a convention like that, there is no doubt. And every single person on that cruise, now I realized that there were some platinums and who came along and paid their own way, and that's great. But everyone was at that level. But every single person, without any hesitation on that cruise, will tell you that they have no doubt in this business. They have no doubt in the company. They have no doubt in the future of what it stands for. And they have no doubt in why we're doing this and what we can achieve by doing this. And that for me was just unbelievable. And if I can encourage every single one of you, please make an effort to get to convention in Sydney.
Yeah.
It's the closest you will get to global convention. If you can, make the effort to get to global convention, because as Mignon said, it's that connection with the people who are experiencing the business and the relationships. And we spent a lot of time talking about relationships on the cruise as well and how to build that and understand that. But I really encourage you, as much as possible, immerse yourself in the business of doTERRA and learn. And one thing I would say is if you can all see the photos and the videos of all these different faces on this webinar, just take a minute and have a look, because everyone looks different. one of the things that came out for me on that cruise is anyone, guys, any single person can be successful in this business.
Mm-hmm.
There is no formula as to who I need to be. There's no, you have to be a Craig and a Tess or a Jackie and a Tanya and a Kath. There is nothing like that. There's one formula that we worked out over 7 days. And that formula is you need to teach, share, and enroll.
That's right.
That is the only formula in this business. And no matter how much crap time you spend on social media and building webinars and doing all those things, we had a really strong exercise towards the end of the cruise where we were asked to write down on a big sheet of paper all the things that we're doing in our business. Like, what are you doing every day? How many calls are you making? What webinars are you doing? What websites have you got? What teaching are you doing? And we got this massive big list. And then we were told to take that list and look at every single one of those items and categorize them and say which of those things take the most time but give us the best result. And we categorized everything, and after a whole session,
little time,
and which ones take the least time but give us the best result. And after all of that conversation, and we had Andy and Natalie Goddard in there, which was fantastic as well to meet them and share with and talk with them. But all of us agreed that it comes down to, as Natalie and Andy have always said, it's the pipes. It's the presentation, the invitation, the presentation, the enroll, and then the support. And you cannot be successful if you do just one of those things. So if you're the sort of person who always spends your time on preparation, I need to study, I need to learn, I need to know all the scientific names before I have a class, I need to quote the prices, and you're not going to get to the invitation, the presentation, and the enrollment bit. And if you saw the person who spends all your time supporting, you're not going to do the invitation, the presentation, and the enrollment bit. So if you get anything out of this conversation from what we've come back with, everyone who can be, and any of you can be successful and are successful, but you do need to have those steps in your business. You can do it in your own time. That's the other part that's really cool. There's no time frame. There's no rush. We had Adish and Santoshi, who are presidential diamonds after 7 years, on the cruise, who've taken in their own time to get there. But absolutely every single one of you guys can get there. And for me, that was one of the big takes, is have no doubt in the successful potential of this business. Have no doubt in your own ability to do it, but do the things that are important. The other thing that we spent a fair bit of time on was we had a group of the guys together, just talking about partners in the business. And I wanted to share this because obviously at the moment, Steve is the only other partner, male or partner on this webinar. We've got their wave.
Oh.
Yep, Daniel.
And you've got Derek.
Derek's there as well. Okay, cool.
If it's Derek and Anne, we have another partner down there.
Okay, awesome. I can't see everyone. So without leaving anyone out, we spent a long time chatting around. It's also really important to look how you can make space in the business for your partner. And that doesn't mean delegate them to be secretary or, accountant or other things. But think about how you can make space for partners. And part of the conversation was, have you ever thought about when you enroll someone, enroll both partners as co-members on the account? So put both partners' names when the account is open. And when we talk to you, and when you talk to people and encourage and coach, talk to them as partners.
Jane and John.
So, Jane and John, and
Jane and
Steve
Jess.
and Michelle, what are you doing? And when you draw pictures on a tree of who's going to grow and who's going to do what, think about putting it out there that talk about people as being a partnership. And then the advantage of that is the sooner you start engaging with your partner and they understand your why and why you are involved in this business, the better the possibility of them being involved and finding a place in the business to support you and work with you. So don't underestimate the power of being open and honest with partners around this as soon as you possibly can. If you start finding the place where you're going to build the business, think about how are you going to have that conversation with your partner. And think about seriously when you're enrolling people, do you put both people's names on the application form? Because when they walk across the stage, you do want them to read both Tess and Craig's name out. You know, you want the partners to be acknowledged in that way. So have a think about that as well. And we spent quite a bit of time having a chat about that. Jackie, can I throw to you and ask you your thoughts on the cruise side? And I know we coming up to time. I don't want to rush you, but what was your big takes out of the mastermind?
What was my big takes? I think for my husband, for me, the mastermind cruise was more about Jeff coming into the doTERRA fold. Now, my husband has opened up to the business since I went Blue Diamond, so his head is kind of spinning at the moment. So I love that you boys got together, and I really had a wish that one wish was you guys talked earlier, and I think Jeff is going to, once he's back from the States, come up with a monthly get together online, you guys, 9 o'clock at night with a glass of wine, and just have a chat. It's really, really important to allow your partner to understand, because he sees where I'm at and he has no concept of this business whatsoever. So I do think, and he's only just started using oils. Bring them in earlier the better. That pivotal exercise about the simplicity of this business that you shared, Craig was pivotal, and also a point that Alice Nichols made actually about being powerful in this business. And I often say to my team, it astounds me that we all come to doTERRA with a successful background, and then we kind of forget about how successful and how much of a rock star and how sassy we were in our past business adventures. We kind of come to doTERRA and just drop everything, and there's almost this playing small. And Alice talks very passionately about being an inspired feminist, and that you're here to learn and to do the work yourself. So I think if everyone could just go, do you know what I can do? Because you can. This business is so forgiving. You see my tree, it's crap. It's the messiest, most disorganized tree probably in your organization, but it works. I don't have business cards, but I'm a Blue Diamond. It works. It's the basics and fundamentals, and they're not, we teach them because they're necessary, and if you do them, they work in your own time frames, whatever that is. It's not a race, but if you do it consistently every day and get rid of that external fluff and noise, you will be successful. You can take this wherever you want to take it.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
And what I loved from Natalie, her just open door, open arms, support everyone regardless of rank, regardless of team, regardless of whether they're going to help them rank or not. They just love everyone. And it was really nice to hear that from a high level.
Beautiful. They certainly set the tone for their organization, of course, who we're all a part of, and it's really quite phenomenal.
Just out of interest, any guesses, and Jackie, you're not allowed to answer, any guesses? Natalie and Andy Goddard were some of the first who enrolled in this business, and obviously our grandparents right at the top of the tree. Any ideas? How many diamonds and above are in Natalie and Andy Goddard's tree? Somebody give me a guess. Either type it in chat, give me a number. Okay, we've got 100 from Annabelle. Who else? Unmute yourself, throw it out there. Any ideas? Tanya, 400, going strong. Good on you. All right, I'll put you out. Michelle, you've been reading up somewhere. 304. We're getting close. Okay, it's 232?
No,
262, was it?
280.
There we go. Okay. So, yep, they've set themselves a goal of 500 diamonds in their team. They're at 200 and middle odd, so 250, 260, I think it was.
283.
283. So you can imagine that is why they are the top earners in doTERRA globally. But as Tess said earlier, you know, when you sit down with them, they are the most genuine, humble, amazing people who do the basics really, really well. It's relationship, it's support. They reinvest almost 50% of their income back into the business. Now, you can imagine as top earners of doTERRA, that's probably a really big number, but they reinvest 50% back into their business.
They earn about $250,000 a month.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tess, I know they did say at the Aussie dinner, I don't know if they were just joking, but out of the 5 million odd members, a third of those are actually in their team.
Not joking.
That was actually correct, though.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
All right, I think you guys, we need to finish up.
Yep,
I've got some
done.
neroli that I want to go rub on.
All right. Guys, thank you very, very much for joining us this evening. Please keep the conversation going. If you want to ask questions, post it in the group. I know, as I said, there are other leaders who are having come and smell sessions across the country. There's a lot going on. We've got Emily up here in October. If you've got a ticket for that, fantastic. We look forward to seeing you then. We've got convention tickets will go on sale at the end of October. So that's the 8th, 9th, and 10th of March. On the 7th of March, there's a silver training the day before. And on the 11th of March in Sydney, there's a One Tree training, which by the looks of things, Tess and I will be emceeing together. I'm going to co-host with doTERRA. I'm still working on my title and what that's going to look like, but I'll probably just be boring old Craig and let doTERRA take the reins. So, guys, really, I would encourage you, have a look at your agenda and make every possible effort to be in Sydney on the 8th, 9th, and 10th of March.
If you think you can't make it there, PM me. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Send me a PM and we'll chat. Okay? If there's any reason why you think you can't be there.
All right.
I want to know.
So Darling Harbour, as we've commented, it's at the Convention Centre in Sydney. Try and lock it out in your diary and start making plans to be there. And let's have a look at what October looks like. We've had massive activity in the last couple of weeks as we've engaged with some people in our team off the back of coming back from our trip. And really starting to see what we've learned being putting into action. So really keen to support you guys. So thanks everyone. Appreciate it and enjoy the rest of your evening and we'll chat soon.
Love you all. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers guys. See ya.